Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Gordon here with another Tech Time with Gordon. This is part 2 of my series called ABCs of Computer Terminology. For those who missed my last video, we covered A to L. I would suggest go checking that out before you jump on this one. Today, in part 2, we're going to cover M to Z. Those who aren't familiar with the term computer terminology, these are just kind of unique words or descriptive words that are used to talk about computer stuff, whether it be hardware or software. Some people like to call it geek speak. It is intimidating, and sometimes if you're not familiar with the word, it means nothing. So I'm here to help when it comes down to it, to give you a better understanding of what the word is, to better help you when you're dealing with IT or when you're looking at purchasing another computer or another electronic device. So without further ado, here is the ABCs of computer terminology. So for the first one, we're covering M, so malware. So this is just kind of short form for malicious software. So this is referring to any software that's designed to cause damage to your machine. It is always encouraged that before you download something, review it, see how many people have downloaded before you put it on your device, because the reason is it could be malware, and again, it can cause some significant damage on our machine. For megapixels, basically your monitor or your screen has all these little dots, and if you look above, you kind of see the picture of the nice tree, but if we zoom in very close to it, we notice that the trees are made up of little dots, little colored dots, and each dot represents a megapixel. And when we look at, when we take pictures or, screens and all that, we want to make sure that there are quite a few dots or megapixels, because the more megapixels we have, the more detail the picture will give us, because we'll have more color that can be applied. But if we have very few megapixels, the picture will look distorted or blurred, and overall you're not going to get the greatest quality you want. Navigating, when we're on the road, when we're driving, we are technically navigating from one point to another. Navigating for this means that we are on a website or web page, and we're going to go to various spots on the website to get to our destination. So we are navigating through this website by going to various pages. For portals, basically this is like an entryway. So we are greeted to this portal, whether it be Google search, where it just gives us the ability to search something in, or it could be something like an email portal where we have to sign in with our credentials in order to get anywhere. So basically, when it comes to web portals, it's an entryway where it's going to start us on our journey, and then we're going to move from there. Random access memory, a lot of people just call this RAM. So it's called random access memory because it's short-term memory. Basically, once your machine powers down, you lose it. Most programs rely on RAM. So basically the more you have, the faster your computer will respond, because your program will have more access to this random memory to do its job. Usually when our machine starts slowing down or we have a lot of significant problems, generally it'll tend to be stemmed to something with your RAM. So what we can do for most devices is we can swap out our RAM as we go along. For read-only memory, or ROM, basically this is built into our motherboard, and it just contains simple stuff, so simple instructions that our computer needs to function. So when our machine does shut down, read-only memory will remain. So it won't disappear like RAM. And if you look up above, you can kind of see the pictures. On the left-hand side, we see RAM sticks, and then on our right, we can see a picture of what ROM looks like. So R is for router. So basically, this is a hardware device. So generally, we'll get a router from our internet provider, whether it be Rogers or Bell. And when the signal comes into our house, so this is the internet signal, the router acts like a traffic cop, stops it, or basically takes that signal and then starts redirecting it throughout the house. So whether this is wired, so whether your computer is connected directly to the internet, or wireless, where it's sending it to our portable devices like our phones or our laptops. For scrolling, or S, basically this is an act of, going on a website or basically anything that requires you to move up or down. And as we move up or down, the content is shifting with us. So as we move up, the older content starts disappearing and new content replaces that. So it's the act of moving up or down. So this is scrolling, and sometimes this can also be left to right or vice versa. S is for sitemaps. So basically, this is a list of what the website contains. Most websites will have this information on their home page, and if you look at the very bottom of the page, usually they'll have sitemaps. So this is an index similar to what we find in a book, and it'll kind of give us what can be found on this website. So it just helps us. So if we can't surf through the website and we can't find that website or that page that we're looking for, it's great to check out the sitemap because it's a little more easier to find exactly what we're looking for. Software, basically these are instructions that tell the computer and the computer network what to do. So generally with software we have to install it, and once it's installed it's going to give instructions to our computer or whatever network we're on, and then the computer's going to react based off of that. So software usually for us tends to be programs. So these instructions are telling how the program is supposed to look like and how it's supposed to function. So T is for Trojan horse. So basically this is a program that will pretend to be something else. So this could be something that looks like a fun, exciting video game, or it could be a program that says that's going to do our tax return. But once we download it and we actually click on it, it's going to do something different. And usually what that something different is, it's usually something that's nasty, whether this is going to be spread a virus throughout our computer, whether it's going to just start deleting stuff, maybe it's going to steal stuff, but it's going to actually start damaging our computer once it starts. So for that term, that is what's called Trojan horse. For upload, it's going to be different than a download. So if we remember from download, we're taking from the internet and then we're going to copy it onto our computer. With upload, it's the reverse. We're going to take from our computer and then we're going to copy that and move it onto the internet. So somewhere like a web server. Uploading for most of us can be using like the iCloud. We are taking our information and then we're storing it on the cloud. So we're just moving it from our machine and we're moving it somewhere on a web service base. So for W, we have web address. So this is an address for a website similar to a street address or home address. This is going to be used to specifically get to the website that we're looking for. And it's generally going to start with www. That stands for the World Wide Web, followed by a dot. Then we're going to put in exactly where we're hoping to go, whether this is going to be Walmart, the Collingwood Public Library, CNN, and then we're going to follow by another dot. And then we're going to put a few letters, and these are basically going to be indicators of what type of website we are hoping to visit. So for most of us, we're generally going to end it with .com, which basically is designed for you know, commercial or business use. There is also ones that are specifically for different countries. If you're looking for anything Canadian related, we always want to go .ca. Another W is for window. So this is a frame that's around our programs. Generally, you see this when we're surfing the internet. So it's basically the box that's around. So for Windows users, this is the blue box that we see that we're in. It allows us to interact with, basically helps organize our information. So we can have multiple windows going at once. We can shrink our windows. We can hide them away. We can bring them up full. We can even quickly close a window if we're done with it. So really, these windows just help in regards to organization and allows us to do multiple things at once if we really want to. And finally, we have Z for zip. So this is a way of storing multiple files into one big solid file for archiving purposes. So you can treat it like if you had a box and you have all these files and you really don't need these files at the moment, you're going to tuck them away. So we're going to take all these files, we're going to put them in the box, we're going to tape the box, we're going to seal this box, and we're going to put it somewhere, and then whenever we need it, we'll have to open that box up and then we'll get access to our files. So it's just a great way to archive information without losing data or files along the way. And that concludes our ABCs of computer terminology. I hope you enjoyed this two-part series, and I hope that everyone has learned a few words that they can use in their everyday vocabulary. I look forward to next Thursday, and I'll see everyone next week. Have a nice day. Bye now.